Do you ever feel frustrated that no matter how many tutorials you watch, you still can't crack the secret code of that genre you're trying to make? Do you ever get sick and tired of feeling like you're about to make your best project yet, break through that barrier and start making pro-level music, but when you come back to your music, it just sounds kinda shit? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you better hold your horses, because I will be sharing with you the 3 tenets of the A.R.M system. This no BS system will provide you with the tools that you need to follow the path to making great music successfully and truly level up in the most efficient way possible, as it once did for me. Not only will this prevent you from ever having to feel this type of pain and disappointment again, but you will also learn the secrets to letting great music simply flow from your mind. It's time you learned the first tenet: accept your position. There's a wise expression in the martial art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that goes position before submission. In other words, don't try and execute a rear naked choke when your opponent is sitting on your face. Not in like a weird way, but like two guys fighting kind of way, you know? Manly stuff. In your journey as a music producer, the same principle applies. You can't execute a rear naked choke on that sweet symphony or that sick drop because it's riding you like a bloody pony. You're still figuring out how to get yourself to a dominant position and you can't force it. But why isn't it important practice to step out of ourselves and really try and recognize where we're at? Well, if you take the time to understand where you're at, you'll better understand where you need to go. This is different for everyone depending on your current skill level. Getting to a stronger position for you might be learning sound design. It might be putting music theory into practice, or it could just be a case of trying to find your sound and style. Don't listen to the guys that tell you that you don't need music theory, or don't bother learning sound design. Just use this preset pack. $29.99 by the way. It drives me crazy. You need to do your due diligence and work on all aspects of your game as a music producer without shortcuts. But a lot of the time, especially as newer producers, we don't accept which position we're in, which can be to our detriment. I'll give you an example of this. When I started getting into music production in my early teens, I'd watched a few videos of guys like Avicii producing music, and I was mind blown. I was just like, yes, I have to try this. And my plan was, in my naive kid brain, was to spend the whole weekend making some deep house or something, thinking that if I just click enough buttons, I can get something good to come out of it, right? Then I'll submit that demo to a label, that gets released. I'm a professional music producer, easy peasy. But guess what happened in reality? I opened FL Studio, I clicked around cluelessly for like 90 minutes, and then I got frustrated and I turned off the computer. I got all done. I didn't give it a try for like 3 months after that because I was so demotivated. In my case, I was still taking my shoes off. Never mind grappling with the bloody thing. Do you see why this exercise is important now? When you try and pull off something like I did and unsurprisingly fall on your face, it really harms your growth as a musician. I lost 3 months and a lot of confidence because I set the bar way too high for myself. You need to find your way there slowly but surely. It's a lifestyle, it's not a race to the top of a mountain. Trust me, you'll know when you're ready to sink that choke in. Now you have the first piece of the A.R.M system, now you're ready for the second tenet of ancient wisdom. Reject consumerism. A dark issue a lot of producers face when they're trying to level up is to fill the void created by this desire to be a good producer with things, gear, VSTs, samples, tutorials. Stop thinking you're gonna make great music by watching some fella talk about whether FL Studio sounds better than Ableton. Stop downloading new synths and 50GB large folders of kick drums. Stop shopping for new headphones. You most likely already have everything that you need. Every time you get a new synthesizer VST or a bundle of mixing plugins that you definitely didn't pirate, you have to direct a bunch of effort into figuring out how how they work, then you have to spend ages trying to get something nice out of it, all while thinking,
oh, this is just what I need to add to my repertoire.
Let me tell you something, you're wasting your energy. I used to have this stack of VST plugins, and all it did was breed analysis paralysis. I'd be sat there debating whether to use this tube saturator, or should I use this tape saturator? If you're at the point where you're really trying to level up as a producer, drop all of the bullshit. You need to limit the amount of decisions that you can make during the production process so that you can actually transfer that energy into honing your craft. Here's an actionable step. Stick to a maximum of 3, preferably 2 VSTs for things like sounds, and a maximum of 5 third-party plugins for things like mixing and effects. But preferably, try to stick to a small handful of your DAW's native plugins. It's also a good idea to create a favorites folder in your DAW so you know what you do and don't need access to. Then, create a custom folder of a medium range of essential samples that fit all of your needs. Keyword here being essential. Don't be a sample hoarder. Get to know that bank of samples really well, and don't add anything else to your repertoire until you've become an expert at working with this limited set of tools. You don't need cool and unique sounds for every project. You just need to know what works. I only started to understand sound design when I dropped everything except for Omnisphere and Serum. You can only gain a deep understanding of things like that within 1 or 2 contexts. When it comes to information and know-how, the best rule to stick by is to classify whatever you're tempted to click on or look up as whether it's just-in-time information or just-in-case information. If you don't know how to use your DAW, okay, you need that information now, right? But if you're tempted to just click on this video about some cool reverse vocal effect, really stop and ask yourself, do I need this information now? Don't clutter your mind with unnecessary information about some technique or a concept. If skill could be gained by watching, every dog would be a butcher. You need to stick your knife into your meat and get carving. Now you have the second tenet of the A.R.M system, you're ready for the final tenet. You've learned to accept your position, reject consumerism, and now you must make shitty music. This is the less sexy part, but here's the truth about how to truly level up as a producer. You need to make shitty music, lots of it. The greatest leap I saw in my skill level as a producer was back in 2017. For a year, I worked on music basically every day, sometimes all day. I made 200 something projects, but I was only truly proud of maybe 15, and they came in the later stages of the year. This was a year where I truly felt like I could finally say,
hey, that's pretty good.
And it took a lot of trudging through muddy, stupid ideas that I turned into bad tracks. But eventually I started to piece it together. You have to crack a silly amount of eggs to make this omelette. Kanye talked about making 5 beats a day for 3 summers. Others talk about the 10,000 hour rule. Point is, you need to write, and then write some more. You need to collect a lot of data so that you can start to recognize the patterns of what works and what doesn't work in music. Try to leave perfection out of the equation. You'll level up far more effectively if you make 100 projects that are left unpolished, as opposed to 50 songs that are perfectly finished. You won't achieve the quality of music production that you strive for unless you're in the trenches making as much music as you reasonably can. You won't know when it will come, but making good music just starts to happen almost accidentally. But there is no shortcut, you can't skip this phase. Here's an actionable step. Make a pact with yourself. Decide on a maintainable but a challenging goal to consistently finish a project. Maybe that's a song a week, maybe that's a beat a day, it's different for everyone. Take all of my previous advice on board, stick it out for 12 months, and I guarantee you'll be blown away with how much you've leveled up. You just have to face all of the struggles to develop yourself into a solid music producer. I hope this has helped you think differently about how to grow into the producer that you want to be. But if you want to understand how you can use your time more wisely in the studio so that you can produce a massive body of work efficiently, you need to watch this video next to see me break that down for you. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!